Good morning, and welcome to My Left Ear. This is Carrie Freeman. Video number 41, and what if is the title of this video. What if, question mark. And today I'm doing political and psychic commentary, and this is a left-leaning channel. It's for entertainment purposes only. It's June 9th. I've got a lot to cover. By introduction, I'm a change agent. I do private sessions with people every day, and I help people change. And I do this through either psychic coaching or my hypnotherapy practice, Therapeutic Hypnosis. And information on that is below. My email, the number of the video where I explain therapeutic hypnosis, the number of the video where I explain the psychic coaching. So welcome. I want to remind everybody that Mercury is still retrograde, and it is retrograde up until June 22nd, and then that following week is called a shadow period. And Mercury retrograde is famous for messing up communications and miscommunications, missed appointments, arguments, disagreements, a lost contract, technical problems, all of this goes on. So during a Mercury retrograde, I try not to solve problems, and I just hold on and I wait. So I just want to give you that heads up. Deep breath. Deep breath. Okay, I'm going to start with good news, not with the what if, because this good news just came down. Val Demings, Democratic Congresswoman from Florida, is going to run for Senate in Florida against Marco Rubio. That is such great news. And Marco Rubio is good and upset, and he should be, because My Left Ear said she's going to win. Val Demings is a force of nature, and she is what Florida needs. She is what the Senate needs. And it goes along with prediction that rather than losing in the Senate, we're going to gain a couple of seats in the Senate, and it will make Joe Manchin not that important. Here we go with what if. So I had a reason to call this what if. So here's the question. What if the Democrats' voting rights acts lose? What if all of it loses because of Joe Manchin, because of the Republicans, because of Mitch McConnell? And I'm going to go back. I'm going to do quotes in the middle of the presentation today. The Stoics told us whatever is happening has happened before. You've heard me say this. Now, I want you to know corporations in America use Stoic philosophy in the boardroom. And when they're doing a big merger or a deal, they make everybody go through, what if the merger doesn't happen? Maybe it's not a merger, I'm just using merger. Let's deal with that. And then they deal with it. And this is also taught in Harvard business schools. I find it encouraging, and I wanted to share that. MLE, staying on the same subject here, told me it's not the end by any stretch. I'm going to repeat that. It's not the end by any stretch. We're all still going to persevere, and probably even more. And people that vote are going to get out and vote no matter what, no matter where they have to go, no matter what time of day. It's going to be powerful. So the Stoics, say it's a small chapter, but it's not the whole novel. So this is a chapter in history which will get fixed eventually. Right now, the books will be written about this and how we turned it around and rid the U.S. of fascism. My Left Ear told me in 2022, and I told you this just now, the Dems are going to increase in the Senate and in Congress because the Republicans are sort of the master of their own demise right now. E-Buddhism, like I shared with you last week, One chapter does not mean the story is over. E-Buddhism, one chapter does not mean the story is over. So it is not the end. Citizens, legal experts, Democrats are gonna get together, and young people are gonna vote because they don't want this crap. The Parkland kids, the young women who are savvy about their bodies, and in fact, I have an example of that towards the end of this video about a young woman in Texas. We'll get to that in a minute. She gave an amazing valedictorian speech about her body. So E-Buddhism says, persevere, you will win, not immediately, but definitely. I wrote something on Twitter. I'm just going to read it to you. I wrote, if Joe Manchin doesn't have an account in the Cayman Islands, and that's a veiled suggestion that he might be receiving dark money. It's a suggestion, not a fact. And he somehow pivots. Let's say he somehow pivots on voting rights. He'd actually become a hero. Not in my book. I don't like him. I don't trust him. Either it's dark money or he's not very smart. He's definitely not listening to his constituents because the mass majority want the shift in voting rights. That's why I think there might be some dark money. But here's how he pivots without losing face, okay? This is my idea. This is my left ear idea. He says publicly something like this. Hi, I have had long talks with my colleagues and the president, and I've decided to support our president's agenda on voting rights across the board. That is my statement. Right this moment, I'm not taking any questions. Thank you very much. He turns around. This is Carrie. This is my left ear. And he says, I decided it's important at this point in history to support Joe Biden. Boom. This Texas girl, her name is Paxton Smith, beautiful valedictorian in Lake Highlands, Texas. She was to get up and give a speech that had nothing to do about Roe versus Wade, but she changed it because she's in Texas and she sees what's happening and she's smart. So she got up and she gave this very impassioned speech to the student body about abortion rights, her fear about being raped perhaps and having to bear that child, that it would ruin her life. And she spoke about the fear for women and her sisters, and it was very powerful. It was brilliant. Shout out to Paxton Smith. Continuing on now, my left ear, minorities will polarize. They did it last election. They're going to do it even more now because they are angry and they're going to get angrier. Joe Biden's approval is extraordinarily high. Our jobs are up, and with infrastructure, which he will probably put through with, my brain, I'm so sorry. He's going to get it put through. You're going to know, you're going to write me. You're going to say, Carrie, it's called, and I'll probably think of it in 5 seconds, but they have this way of pushing it through because it has to do with money. So I do think, and I think he's like, no nonsense with this infrastructure. That is going to create more jobs and more industry. So it's looking very good. Now, what's really interesting about the people that will come out to vote, on the other hand, because the former guy is running his mouth about phony election, he's actually discouraging his people from voting. It's ironic. He's sort of suggesting that their vote doesn't matter. They may not show up. Good news, Obstruction of justice. Don McGahn finally had to testify and tell the truth, and it's all very legally damning to the former guy. It speaks of obstruction of justice, crystal clear, and asking Don McGahn. And Don McGahn is very conservative, but he's by the book. He's not a criminal. He's by the book. So he told the truth. And he asked Don McGahn to break the law. And Don McGahn was like, no. It's an easy case to make against 45, among many cases. But obstruction of justice, finally, the stuff in the Mueller report is coming out. You know, it's interesting. My left ear has been like really kind of speaking to me a lot right now. Not everything is predictions, but it channeled something that reminded me, and I'm about the arts. I think the arts heal. I think creative work is healing, and it's good for mental illness, and it's good for everybody, no matter if you are an artist or not. So what my left ear shared with me that is true, in fascism, there is no art. There is no musical theater. There's no originality. There's no freedom to write the books you would like to write. There's no such thing as independent thinking. In fact, notice how the former guy always avoided the Kennedy Center honors. Well, part of it, because it wasn't about him, and he would have to applaud for other people. But those people that get honored are brilliant. They've had years and years and years of producing incredible science, music, art, Kennedy Center honors. So that's coming back, and we can't lose art in all its forms. And the thought of it is scary. Now we come to this difficult conversation about Merrick Garland, our Attorney General. He's been making, or the DOJ has been making choices that are very troublesome, to say the least. He doesn't, well, his department, I don't want to pin everything on him, but he's the leader. They're challenging Judge Amy Jackson's ruling to reveal all of the Mueller report. He wants to protect some of it. What? He's shutting down holding William Barr or the president accountable for what happened in Lafayette Square, where people got tear gassed and hurt. What? The DOJ is taking on, how do I put this? E. Jean Carroll, wonderful columnist and brave woman who was raped, allegedly, I have to say that, although I totally know it's true, but allegedly, in Bergdorf Goodman in New York by Donald Trump, kept the dress with the DNA on it, still has it. And he defamed her in office. So she's gone after him, not for the rape, but for the defamation. And our DOJ is fighting on the former guy's behalf. I know. Now, in February, he actually made a speech and he vowed to bring the January 6th insurrectionists to justice. There is a video. January 2021, or February maybe. A friend of mine said she knows people that know Merrick Garland, and she said he is known to be very methodical, and he's known to be very stealth. So my prayer, wouldn't it be nice if Merrick Garland is gonna step up and hold the insurrectionists and Donald Trump accountable for the insurrection? Wouldn't it be nice? Because all we're missing is that he's not making any comments. He's not letting us know. But I have to tell you, I have another Buddhist quote that suggests, I don't have it on here today, I should have put it on here, but it suggests don't show your cards until you're ready to make your move. That is a possibility. If that is not happening, then I am very sad Sally Yates was not made the Attorney General. Now I want to remind you of one of my manifesting tools, Wouldn't It Be Nice? So I'm sharing it with you so you can walk around in your kitchen or while you're taking a shower, in the car, and you say, wouldn't it be nice if the voting rights passed? Wouldn't it be nice if billionaires paid taxes like you and I? And wouldn't it be nice if women had domain over their own bodies and organs? So you can walk around, if you agree with me, and you can say those things. And we hope and pray. And I've mentioned to you before that Bill Palmer has he's got like a news cycle on Twitter. I follow him because I think probably he has a legal background. He writes like he has a legal background. And he is really speaking out towards Democrats that have defeatist attitudes. Like, we've lost, it's no good, this is going to happen. He's really speaking out and saying, come on, grow some people. He is convinced that the voting rights is going to pass and the infrastructure is going to pass. I say it's possible. So I want to share with you something interesting because I do have a little bit of time. By the way, I'm on my way to physical therapy because I have a rotator cuff tear. And evidently, almost everybody on the planet has had a rotator cuff tear. I'm really late to the game. But I'm not in pain, so don't worry about me. I got cortisone. I'm not in pain, so I don't want you to worry about me. I had good evidence this week on the street, and I want to share it because it was like it came boom, boom, boom. And it had to do with positive noticing too. So first one is, I have to give you a backstory. I was in my Ralph's, and there's a Starbucks, relatively new Starbucks in there. And I got a hot chocolate, which is my favorite drink from Starbucks. They make a great hot chocolate, by the way. I always ask for an extra pump. So I get the hot chocolate, I get home, which I'm 3 minutes from this Starbucks. And it's like the woman put a shot of cappuccino in my hot chocolate. Now, I've had a lot of these, and it was really off. It was coffee in my hot chocolate. So I decided to take it back. I took it back, and the young girl didn't want to replace it. And she wasn't loud or anything like that, but she kind of argued with me. And I said, listen, isn't Starbucks sort of famous for saying if you didn't get the drink right, we'll replace it? And I've probably spent $1,000 or more in Starbucks. Wouldn't it be worth it just to make me a new drink? Well, I finally talked her into it. And I got home and the drink was terrible. I think it maybe was her irritation with me. I don't know how she was trained, but it was the weakest hot chocolate. And I went, okay, I give up. So now 2 days later, I go to an independent Starbucks that I know. I've been to many times. It actually is a great store. And I go up, and they're not very busy, and this tall, handsome man who I've never seen there is standing there, and he's like really warm and friendly, and I go, I want a triple venti cappuccino, and how's your day, and all that kind of stuff. And then he kind of nods like, just go ahead. Drinks on us. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, I have no idea why this happened. So I pick up my drink, and now they have tables available. So I've got my laptop. I'm going to write like the old days, set up my table. And now this guy walks over to me, and he says, how's your venti? And I went, it's great. And I said, I just don't know why you bought me a venti. And he said, well, you were in here last week and you didn't get your drink right. Isn't that right? And I went, no. And he goes, and someone was kind of rude to you, like a female who was making, and I went, no, it was someone else. And he went, it was? And I went, yeah, but I'm going to tell you something really weird. This happened to me at another Starbucks. And I told him the story. I said, tell me that's not strange that you're mistaking me. So he was like so kind. He was so sweet that I had my mask on because I didn't take it off till I sat down and started typing. I literally started weeping. I was weeping from his kindness. All right, so that's number one. Number two, I go to Chase Bank and I take out a chunk of cash because I'm going to pick up my vacuum cleaner getting fixed. And I thought, well, if I give them cash, maybe they'll give me a discount. So I took out this chunk of cash and I took the vacuum money and put it in an envelope, and then I took the rest of the money, which was $150, in another envelope. And I drove to the vacuum cleaning place, and my envelope with $150 for me was missing. I couldn't find it anywhere. So the vacuum cleaner guy came out and I said, I'll be back. I just lost a lot of money and I'm going to the bank. And he said, oh, bummer. So I run to the bank and now I'm like sweating. And I'm talking to myself, it's okay, Carrie. You're not ill. Nothing's happened. You just lost some money. You'll make it up. So I run in and this young woman sees, and she goes, no, you go in front of me. You go in front of me. Well, there was no cash. Nobody turned it in and nobody could help me. So this young woman took an interest in me, and I'm just going to guess she was maybe about 33. She was really pretty. And she was like, oh my God, that's happened to me. She goes, I'm going out to my car and I'm going to look on the ground. Well, when I came out of Chase Bank, she came around the corner and said, I've been looking and looking and I can't find the money. She was another angel. So what happened? I'm so embarrassed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. I did not take that $150 and put it in a separate envelope. I put it in my wallet. So I never lost the money at all. So I told her the truth. I said, okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. Have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever done a dumb thing? Because I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I confessed to her. Oh, she was just the best. So we wished each other well. Masks were on, couldn't hug or anything like that. Now the next day, I'm going to Manhattan Bagel. They make the best bagels. In the morning, 10:30 in the morning, and it's very popular. The sun is shining. I park, and it's kind of so busy that I really can't walk inside. And there is a tall young man, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s. And he's kind of dressed like hip hop. And he goes, oh, no, come on in. You're standing in the sun. So he ushers me in so I don't have to stand in the sun. And then he says, I'm next. You go ahead of me. And I'm like, really? And he went, yeah, ladies first. You go ahead of me. And I said, well, I'm just getting one bagel. And thank you. So I get the bagel. I turn around and I pass this kid and I go, you are such a nice person. And we did that. So now what I want to tell you is what I think is interesting, and there's a lawnmower going on in the background. I'm so sorry about that. That none of them were white. None of those people who on the street, who were strangers, who were so sweet to me, were white. I'm just going to let you, sit with that for a minute. It was very beautiful. There are angels on the street. And now here is the quote. It is by Albert Camus, great philosopher. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Albert Camus was really deep. I'm going to repeat that. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Ta-da! So look for my next video. I'm going to put it out in the next couple of days. And strangely, it's not about any of this. I spent 8 years working in a drug and alcohol rehab. And out of the blue, my left ear told me that people would love to hear about what's on the inside, what happens on the inside of drug and alcohol rehab. And I can do that and keep all confidences. So that's my next video. I already wrote it. It's ready to go. I'm off. Make peace. Make memories with anybody that you can. And it was really good seeing you, and I'll see you soon. I always like to say bye-bye. Really good seeing you.